Okay, let's get into it. For this deep dive, we are unpacking an absolute must-read for anyone building anything. It's Peter Thiel and Blake Masters' 0 to 1.
Right, and if you've ever really wondered what separates a truly world-changing company from just another business, this is the core text.
Our mission today is to really grapple with the book's central and I'd say pretty revolutionary idea.
Which is that almost everything we've been taught about competition being a good thing is, well, it's just fundamentally wrong.
So we're going to explore why true innovation means finding a unique, non-competitive solution, a creative monopoly.
And that framework, it starts right at the beginning by defining progress itself. He splits it into two very different paths.
Path number one is what they call horizontal or extensive progress. The shorthand is going from 1 to n.
And 1 to n is basically globalization. It's copying things that already work. So, if you take one factory and then you build 10 identical ones, that's 1 to n.
It's familiar, you can scale it, but it's not new.
Exactly, you're just adding more of the same thing.
But wait, isn't that the safest path? I mean, if you see a market that works, doesn't it just make sense to copy a proven strategy and maybe do it a little better?
Logically, it seems safe. But the book argues that the second type of progress is what really matters.
Vertical or intensive progress.
Going from 0 to 1, this is technology in its purest sense. It's the singular act of creation. So you got a typewriter, and then someone invents the word processor. That's 0 to 1.
And that's what actually creates the future instead of just expanding the present.
Yes, precisely.
So if 0 to 1 is the goal, the whole journey starts not with market analysis, but with philosophy.
It starts with the contrarian truth. The whole book is built on this one question.
What important truth do very few people agree with you on?
It's such a simple filter, right? Because any truth that's obvious or that's widely accepted, well, it's not a secret anymore.
It's already priced in.
Exactly. But if you can find a good answer to that question, one that defies what everyone else thinks, you're basically seeing a future that other people can't.
And this leads us straight to, I think, the most controversial part of the book.
Oh, the capitalism versus competition idea.
Yes. We're taught that competition is the lifeblood of capitalism, but they argue they're actually opposites. How does that even work?
It's about profits. Capitalism is about the accumulation of capital, which means profits. But competition, especially what economists call perfect competition, is designed to eliminate profits.
Explain that for us. How does it eliminate them?
Because in a perfectly competitive market, your company isn't special, you're a commodity. So customers only care about getting the lowest price.
So you're forced to sell at whatever the market rate is.
Right, which eventually just covers your costs. You make zero economic profit in the long run.
That airline industry example suddenly makes a lot of sense. The source says in 2012, U.S. airlines made just 37 cents of profit per passenger.
Brutal. That's just survival, it's not creation. Now compare that to what he calls a creative monopoly.
And this isn't a bully who crushes everyone.
No, not at all. It's a company that is so good, so innovative, that nobody else can offer a close substitute. Think Google and search. They can actually plan for the long term.
So if aiming for a monopoly is the goal, how do companies talk about this? Because nobody wants to admit they're a monopoly, but nobody wants to admit they're in a dogfight either.
And that's what he calls the market perception lie. Companies are always misrepresenting their position.
How so?
Monopolists will always disguise their dominance. Google, for instance, won't say it dominates search advertising. It'll frame itself as a tiny player in the, massive global advertising market. Makes them seem small.
And the hyper-competitive companies do the exact opposite.
They do. They exaggerate their uniqueness. They define their market so narrowly that they sound special.
You're not just a restaurant in Palo Alto.
Right. You're the only British food spot serving artisanal toast within a 2-mile radius. It's a way to avoid facing the brutal reality that you're just another restaurant.
It's fascinating how the trauma of the dot-com crash in 2000 just created these rigid dogmas for the next generation of startups.
Oh, it did. The survivors all internalized these lessons, like make small incremental steps, stay lean and unplanned, focus only on product.
And the book's point is that if you follow those rules, you're guaranteed to get stuck in that 1 to n trap.
The real 0 to 1 companies did the opposite. They risked being bold. They understood that a bad plan is better than no plan. And they valued sales just as much as product.
So the lesson is you can't just follow the wisdom from the last crisis. You have to think for yourself.
Which brings us to the next big idea, durability. If you create a 0 to 1 monopoly, how do you make it last?
And that comes down to how you define value. A great business isn't about its current revenue. It's all about its ability to generate cash flows far, far into the future.
Which is why a high-growth tech company could lose money for years but still have a massive valuation. The market is pricing in decades of future monopoly profits.
This completely flips that old startup advice about being the first mover.
Right, the goal isn't to be first. It's to be the last mover, to make the final great development in a market and then secure decades of profit.
So to get that durability, the book lays out 4 key characteristics. The first one is proprietary technology.
And this is critical. It can't just be a little bit better. It has to be at least 10 times better than the closest substitute.
10 times. Why that specific number?
Because anything less than 10x gets bogged down in the noise. A marginal improvement isn't enough to get people to overcome the cost and hassle of switching from what they already know.
So something like Amazon offering 10 times more books than any physical store, that's a 10x jump in selection.
Exactly. Or the first iPad making all previous tablets feel unusable, that's a 10x improvement in design and experience.
Okay, what's the second characteristic?
Network effects. This is when your product gets more valuable as more people use it. You know, like a telephone or Facebook.
But there's a paradox there, right? You can't just launch a social network for the whole world at once.
You can't. To get network effects started, you have to begin with an incredibly small, specific market that you can completely dominate.
Like Facebook starting only with Harvard students.
Or PayPal focusing just on eBay power sellers. You need that initial density before you can go broad.
Third is economies of scale.
This is where high fixed costs, like all the engineering to build a piece of software, get spread out over a massive number of users.
And for software, the cost of serving one more user is basically zero.
Near zero. And that's where you get these incredible profit margins that let you reinvest and stay ahead.
And the last one is branding.
Right, but it's the capstone, not the cornerstone. A strong brand reinforces a monopoly, but it can't be the foundation.
So Apple's brand works because it's built on top of their incredible proprietary technology and scale.
Precisely. It's backed by substance.
And the strategy to pull all this off is to start small and scale deliberately. We have to own a niche first.
It's the Amazon model. Start with books, dominate books, then move to adjacent markets like CDs and software. Only then do you try to become the everything store.
And it seems crucial to avoid defining your company just by what you're against. This idea of avoiding disruption.
Yes, that's a negative-sum game. Napster fought the music industry and everyone lost. PayPal, on the other hand, actually expanded the payments market. They gave Visa more business than they took. Creation is always better than opposition.
This focus on long-term creation really shifts the whole conversation to mindset, doesn't it? This idea of definite versus indefinite thinking.
It does, and this is a major critique of modern culture. The book argues we live in an age of indefinite optimism.
Meaning, we expect the future to be better, but we have no specific plan for how to make it better.
We just sort of hope it happens. We diversify our investments because we see the market as random. We tell students to be well-rounded and keep all their options open.
Instead of figuring out the one best thing to do and then just doing it.
Exactly. A definite person focuses relentlessly on achieving a specific goal.
And the reason this indefinite thinking is so dangerous is something called the power law,
which the book calls the hidden law of the universe. It basically says that returns in any system are severely unequal. They aren't a bell curve.
So for a venture capitalist, maybe 1 or 2 investments will return more than the rest of the fund combined.
That's it. It's not about picking 10 decent companies. It's about finding the 1 or 2 that will be astronomically successful. The returns are a spike, not a smooth curve.
Wow. If you apply that to your own life, it completely destroys the idea of diversification.
It does. It means you shouldn't diversify your time or your career. You should find the one thing you're good at that has the potential to create immense value and focus everything on that.
And that one thing usually comes from finding a secret, a non-obvious truth that other people have missed.
Yeah, you have to find that hidden truth to create real value.
What kinds of secrets are we talking about?
Well, there are 2 kinds. Secrets about nature so, scientific breakthroughs, or secrets about people.
What's the secret about people?
It's realizing a market need is being ignored because of some convention. Think Airbnb or Uber. The secret was that people were actually willing to share their personal assets, their homes and cars, with strangers.
Once you have that secret, you need the right organization to execute the plan. And it all starts with the foundation.
Getting the first things right. Choosing co-founders is like a marriage. If that's broken, nothing else can fix it.
And then you have to design for alignment. The book talks about 3 groups: Ownership, possession, and control.
Right. Ownership is who has the equity, possession is who runs the company day to day, and control is the board. For a startup to work, those three have to be pulling in the exact same direction.
And to keep them aligned, the board has to be small, ideally 3 people.
Maximum 5 for a private company. Anything bigger just becomes a bureaucracy.
And compensation is key. The CEO's cash salary should be modest, maybe $150,000 max for an early-stage company. Why is that?
Because a high salary incentivizes you to protect the status quo. A low salary combined with high equity means your only focus is on increasing the company's long-term value.
Right, and you have to be all in. On the bus or off the bus?
No hedging.
Okay, we've covered product, philosophy, organization. But now we have to talk about the thing that kills more startups than anything else. Distribution.
Ah, yes. The great engineer's delusion that a great product will just sell itself.
Which is a lie.
It is the biggest lie. Distribution, selling the product, is just as critical as the product itself. And just like everything else, it follows a power law.
Meaning most companies fail to get any distribution channel working.
But if you can get just one to work really, really well, you can build a great business.
And which channel you choose depends on the math, right? The customer lifetime value has to be higher than the customer acquisition cost.
That's the whole game. So if you're selling something for 7 figures like a SpaceX rocket, you need complex sales, the CEO has to be involved.
But if you have a cheap consumer product, you might need something like viral marketing.
Exactly, like PayPal paying new customers $10 to sign up. That only worked because the network effect grew exponentially, locking people in. Your channel has to match your margins.
Moving to technology itself, the book really pushes back against the fear that computers are going to replace all human jobs.
Yeah, it draws a crucial distinction. Computers are complements, not substitutes. Globalization is when humans compete with other humans for the same jobs. Technology is when computers help humans do their jobs better.
And the best systems are a hybrid of man and machine.
Totally. Look at PayPal's fraud detection system. The computers would flag millions of suspicious transactions, but it was always a human analyst who made the final call. Technology surfaces the data, human judgment provides the insight.
And finally, we get to the founder. The book argues that these 0-to-1 leaps require a very specific type of person.
The founder's paradox, yeah. They're often these extreme, contradictory figures. Insider and outsider, charismatic but difficult. Their singular vision is what's needed to push a company beyond just making small improvements.
And the big case study tying this all together is Tesla.
Right. They succeeded where hundreds of other clean tech companies failed because they got all the key questions right. They had proprietary tech, a definite plan.
And they started small. They absolutely dominated a tiny niche first.
Yeah.
The high-end luxury electric sports car market for wealthy buyers.
And they had a powerful secret. They realized that green tech, at least at first, wasn't about utility. It was a social and fashion statement.
It was about looking cool.
Exactly. And that brand allowed them to charge a premium and survive long enough to actually achieve scale.
So we end up right back where we started, with this fundamental choice between a future of sameness, the one-to-end path, or a future of creation, the 0-to-1 path.
And the stakes are high. The book warns that if we only pursue globalization without major technological leaps, we're just heading for more conflict over scarce resources.
The future isn't automatic. It requires a definite plan. It requires design.
And that's the final takeaway, isn't it? You are not a lottery ticket. Success is not an accident. So if you believe in the power law, if you believe in focused creation, what specific, non-obvious truth, what secret will you act on?
The most important task isn't to just oppose the crowd. It's to think for yourself and start building.